co-main. Gabe Flores got in there and
got toasted.
Yeah, so he's coming off.
He got toasted.
No, so he loses. I'm going back. So he loses he gets his first loss.
Say it one more time.
Yeah, he got toasted.
He gets his first loss, and it was like, man, and it wasn't just a loss. We talked about it at the time, but he got hammered. Like the whole fight just got dominated.
Worse than last night?
Yeah. That one.
I would say so.
It was worse than last night.
Yeah, but so then his next fight he has a majority decision win, and everyone was like, I don't know, like you got back in there, but then we talked about on the show that afterwards he was very critical of his performance even though he won, and then his dad was critical, and it was like a really weird interview. Bernardo Ozuna was even like, yeah, I think you guys are gonna like get past it, like it'll be okay, like moving forward. But then last night, I think we were all expecting, okay, get back on track. Cabrera, who he's fighting, undefeated fighter, and I was like, it's a tough test to get. That's not like like a slump buster. Like you're getting back in there with an undefeated guy, hungry fighter, trained by Freddie Roach, and 7 seconds in the fight, puts him down.
Nice little left hand.
Whew. And then it didn't get any better from there.
Yeah. Then a minute later went down again?
Yeah, goes down again, and it just seemed to just be the same thing kind of over and over, and there wasn't an adjustment. It gets dropped again later.
The 5th round.
I thought maybe he won a round. Maybe.
Didn't one of my guys lose a point for holding or something?
Did he yesterday? He lost in a previous fight, Cabrera. I don't think he lost. Did he lose a point yesterday?
Yeah, it took a point for holding.
Yeah. So I'm like, maybe he won a round, but something's just off with him. I don't know if Zittel, if you have any insight
it was tough to watch. It was tough to watch him go down like that on the first punch he got hit with in the fight, and that lets you know something's not right with young Gabe Flores. And first and foremost, I want to give him a lot of credit for the heart he displayed in both of his losses. Mm-hmm. Those were fights that could have been stopped, maybe arguably rounds before they were, but he wasn't going to quit, and he showed the heart that makes him a fighter. Gabe Flores, but. It was tough to watch because him getting signed at the time as the youngest professional Bob Arum and Top Rank had ever signed. Mm-hmm. I think now that's Xander Zayas, but at the time it was him. And I could have sworn when I saw his first handful of fights, he was going to become a world champion because of his hand speed and his boxing ability and his movement. And then he knocks out Jason Velez with a big left hook, and he starts kind of falling in love with his power, even though he's not a knockout puncher. And I don't think that did him favors since getting that big knockout.
Yeah.
And what was tough is Shawn talked about Edgar Berlanga and not wanting him to see on TV, which was kind of a new take. Like, I've never really heard that before. And I thought back to that and I said, maybe that would have done Gabe some good in this rebuilding stage where we're just, like we talked about a pitcher or a hitter in baseball, all of a sudden the mechanics are off, and then you got to like start from scratch. Yeah. And that's kind of like with Berlanga, that's what's happened with Gabe.
Shout out to Noriega. He said the boxing game and the rap game is just the same. You don't put a rapper on the stage before he's ready. You put a rapper in small venues until he's ready for the big stage. And then if something happens, you go back and you work on your craft. Same thing with comedians. Like I love this sport because you can basically equate anything to it. Comedians at the highest level, once it's not going the way they needed to, they go back, they digress to progress. And I don't think that that's going to happen for Gabe. I think that it kind of is what it is. I think Gabe is who he is as a boxer. I think at 135, Tim, I agree with him 100%. He's not strong enough. And I don't just get the tweet out. I just don't think that he's healthy to be a professional boxer. And here's the thing, and it's very hard for guys to accept it. If you worked your life for something and then you can't do it the way you worked to do it, and you got to figure out something else, it's damn near impossible. And then, I talked about that in the fight that I felt like his dad should have stopped. His dad didn't stop it because you throw in the towel and now you're seeing everything that you worked so hard for. Everything that you worked so hard for, it all goes down the drain. And so they're trying to salvage Gabe Flores. And I don't really know what the move is for Top Rank, putting him in the ring with the undefeated fighter.
Guy,
almost like, prove now
and
or
in the
now or
co-main
never.
too. Like this wasn't on the
Yeah.
ESPN deep ESPN Plus undercard. Like,
Yeah.
it was the co-main event.
Yeah.
And he just, and then afterwards he's saying he wants a rematch with him, and
You
then
need to
he's saying
listen to Shawn Porter.
And then he's saying he didn't listen to his corner, and I'm just like, yeah, this is a lot of like
excuses.
yeah, but it's the same thing that's happened 2 fights now. That it's just like it's not working.
Let me say this. Because I had a phone call with somebody the other day, and they really weren't too happy with what I had said about them on the show. And I said, you know what? Maybe when I know what I feel I know, maybe I shouldn't say that. Maybe I should leave it up to the fighters or the coaches or management, whatever, to say what I believe is going on. And we've talked about this before when we talk about a fighter retiring. We shouldn't retire fighters on our show. We should leave that up to them. We can, of course, say our opinion if we feel like, hey, this is the last, hoorah for you.
Yeah.
I do understand that, but I want to make it clear that I'm not being hard on the young man. I think without knowing him, I am aware and concerned. I don't know if I've ever even shook hands with Gabe Flores, but what I see is his reaction time is not what it needs to be. Not even it's not what it needs to be to fight at the level that he's expecting or expected to fight at. You're fighting undefeated fighters. It's a different level. It kind of is what it is. Of course, the power is not there. If you're not listening to your corner, and you've said that multiple times in fights, that means there's a disconnect, and that's just something that you just can't do in a fight situation when the lights come on, when you're on the big stage. All that being said, what I tweeted last night, I just don't think that he's healthy enough. I don't think that he is for the sake of words, good enough. Though those are our assessments based on me, I guess for the sake of words, wanting to protect him. And that's why the tweet came, is because I want everybody to understand that it's not that he sucks. It's not that these guys are like just so much better than him. I do believe that there's some other things that are preventing him from being at the level that we hoped he would get to. And so I just want to make it clear, like I'm not trying to come down on the young man. I'm not trying to put him down or anything like that at all. But from what I see, it looks like when you don't have the reaction, the timing, I mean, obviously it can be you working on things in the gym to get your timing better and things like that. But you're young. Well, how old is he now?
22.
Yeah, 22.
Which is why it'd be heartbreaking to tell a young kid with fast hands, great amateur background, signed as the youngest, and now you're going to tell him to do something else with his life?
Yeah.
Does he almost need
hard.
And I'm not even sure if it,
and
like timing-wise, do you need to just
it has nothing to do with the fact that he's got...
Can he recharge and come back?
Yeah, just like a sabbatical. Like, go away, get healthy, get your mind right, and just kind of figure that out. Because I don't. I'm not as qualified talking as you. I'm not sure if it's like a boxing tactics that are letting him down. It's physical, and it's not listening. It's not. Yeah. It doesn't seem like I'm not watching that. Like, yeah, if you would have did this, something's just not right with him. So I feel like just kind of getting away. And
I can't say this when a fighter's not listening or following instructions on fight night. It can be like nerves. It can be like anxiety. It can be some other things that aren't defeated before you get to the ring. Yeah. So I honestly could be wrong. I mean, again, he's 22. Yeah. I'm more than likely wrong in saying that his health, I don't think is where it should be. But if the disconnect is the listening and things like that on fight night, when we have an opportunity to see him, it's the worst time for you not to be able to make that connection. The sabbatical, to the putting yourself in situations where the blood is really hot and you got to think and you got to fight through things, just like they train soldiers in the military. They put them in war situations so that they understand how to control everything once that war actually happens. And so, I think, the sabbatical.
Yeah, just take a break. Just get away. He's still young.
Yeah. Is it a chance? The guy has, 21-2? He got 23 fights. He turned pro in 2017. Did they push him too fast? Is that about chance?
We're going to talk about Jose Benavidez in a little bit.
Yeah.
And that was another kid who got a lot 202 at an early age. Gabe, though, despite being, signed at the youngest age, it's not like he was headlining on TV right away.
He was a big draw in Stockton. He was a big draw, and so I think it probably was tough. Not that they put him in like with these monster killers or anything like that, but he's fighting well and he's a good sell. So it's tough if you're top ranked to be like, whoa, let's not push you forward. Let's kind of hold you back because
he was dating to fight Carson every other month. Like he fought in August
and he was talking
ran it back in September.
He was talking about fighting like when he was in high school.
Yeah, it was
he got signed so young. He was like, I was fighting and still like going to high school.
He was fighting grown men as a kid.
Yeah, I think he's still
and beating them.
Yeah, I think he's still young enough. I think he can probably get back on track to some extent. I'm not sure if he's going to get back to this heralded amateur that was knocking people out, like you said, the Velez knockout.
Yeah.
But I think he can get back to somewhat on track.
And like again, let's just be honest. Do you see NCAA basketball players that are like elite? They go to the NBA and then it just doesn't translate.
Yeah,
So and those guys even, I think if anything, they're kind of pushed out of the league.
Yeah.
In this situation, you just have to take a look at everything. Were you an elite amateur who was a little bit more mature and beyond the guys that you were getting in the ring with, and then now as a pro, it's kind of like a even playing field now, and you're not,
And even talking about getting away from it, we can kind of close on that.
Yeah, sure.
Don't get these learning lessons and don't try to figure stuff out in fights like this.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a young guy yesterday that took a beating for 10 rounds.
Yeah.
So don't go back in there and say, "Oh, I'll figure it out." In the ring, because you don't need to take punishment for 10 rounds. I wouldn't have been mad if his dad stopped the fight yesterday. I wouldn't have been mad if he stopped the fight when he was losing before.
Yeah,
like, you don't need to just constantly take beatings and say, "Okay,
and
I'm learning."
I didn't think he took a beating yesterday. I just think he was a little outmatched.
Down 3 times, big cut. I don't know.
Yeah, and the cut near the end of the fight too.
Yeah, it felt like learn that outside of the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Try to figure out as much as you can about yourself and your fighting style.
Yeah,
outside of that.
And just what was concerning again is the way he reacted to punches. Unlike Jose Vargas, he was able to pull through and make it to a final bell. But when a guy gets hit and you just see the way their body reacts to it, he wasn't reacting well to taking shots.
Yeah.
And he, we mentioned the Velez knockout. He started to love. He started to believe in his power a little bit, but I really think his gift is his speed and his boxing ability. So that's what should be, probably his foundation when he recovers and eventually gets back.
It's like
box
left all that. Yeah, he's like left all that.
Yeah. Right.
It's everything is one jab or 1-2. But anyway,
I think some of these guys get influenced by Canelo.
And then just to give the other guy a little bit. What was his name?
Cabrera.
I do.
Cabrera. Yeah, just to give him he fought hard, he fought strong, courageous. He stalked, and it was like he was so comfortable in there. I think that's another reason why you see a big difference right there. You see his hands down and he's comfortable. He trusts his reaction timing. He trusts his corner. He trusts his training. And I think then there again is just a separation between what you're seeing from Flores and you're seeing from Cabrera. Yeah. I like the kid. I thought that he looked really good. That's my first time seeing him.
He punches. He looks like he punches harder than 7 KOs.
And he looks like he punches a little harder too
than his record says.
It looked like he got a little thump.
Yeah. And just for Flores, what was a little concerning for him too in his career was you keep waiting for that grown man strength, and you see like the Haney's, growing into the grown man strength now. And it's just, he's only 22, but it felt like it's taken a long time to come along. And he trains very hard. I know he trains hard. It's not like he's leaving something in the gym, but that muscle and, it's a problem. It wasn't developing for him for whatever reason. Everybody's body's different. Yep. And he needs some of that to keep these guys off of
especially
him.
at 35.
Yeah, especially at 35. Yeah. So,
and then
because the speed's there.
Yeah. I hope for him.
We spent way too long this fight.
We did.
I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, I hope. Yeah, young guy. I hope he figures it out.
It was a slow weekend.